Hello there everyone, welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Today is Thursday, September the 6th, 2012, and today I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that there's been a large increase lately in the amount of military drills and training exercises with the military in regards to how to deal with urban civilian populations. There's a great deal of domestic training exercises going on with the military. And especially in the last few months, there's been a huge increase in the amount of these exercises going on. Here is some footage recently from just a couple weeks ago or so of some Black Hawk helicopters flying in downtown Minneapolis. This footage was shot from the 28th floor of the Wells Fargo building. And what ends up happening a lot of the times when these military training exercises take place is that the general population in the city is not notified until after the fact. A lot of the times people will end up complaining. They'll call into their local media or their local police to say, you know, there's military out here and there's Black Hawk helicopters flying around. What in the world is going on? At which point they would issue a statement saying, oh, well, this is just a training exercise, no need to worry. Meanwhile, the damage is already essentially being done in their minds. It amounts to conditioning people to get used to these martial law type scenarios and seeing military walking around in the streets. This has also gone on recently in Tampa, Florida. Here is a little news report talking about some of the recent urban training exercises going on there.
Just imagine you sort of come down to South Florida, want to relax, nestle into your bed, and just after you click off 7 News at 11, this happens. It's like a scene out of an overseas military mission, but this is Coconut Grove.
We saw like flashes and shooting, and the Black Hawk had like a Gatling gun in the front, and you could hear it open up and fire off.
And this has actually been going on for a little while now in Tampa. They've run a few of these drills, often led by NATO. Here's another report on that.
A tilt rotor Osprey that surveys downtown Tampa. And special forces operators from different countries assaulting mock enemy positions.
Now, obviously, the military needs to train their personnel. They have to train for different types of scenarios. But the problem is, a lot of times with these drills that are being conducted, there are sometimes criminal elements within the military that will manipulate these situations. And we're starting to see more of this. We've seen this all over the States, but we're now seeing it more in Canada. Here is an article recently from the Examiner. NORAD holds hijacking drill with the U.S., Russia, and Canadian military. Military from the U.S., Canada, and Russia have just completed joint training exercises for responding to hijacking scenarios similar to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The training exercise was led by the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, the same organization that 2 years before the 9/11 attacks conducted drills to simulate hijacked airliners crashing into the World Trade Center. Another NORAD simulation used the Pentagon as a target. And that's another very important point to make, is that sometimes these drills, these training exercises, will just so happen to be going on at the exact same time that a real attack is taking place. That was the case on 9/11. NORAD was conducting drills involving hijacked airplanes and even attacks on the Pentagon. And so even within the NORAD Space Command, there was a great deal of confusion where people were, wondering, is this the drill going on, or is this the real world? In fact, we saw similar scenarios with the London 7/7 bombings, where there were drills going on at the exact same time, at the exact same places that these real bombs went off. And I think the reason for that is because there's a small criminal elements within the intelligence communities that pull off these black ops, these psychological false flag operations, and it provides for a cover if you happen to be involved with the black op operation and you're trying to carry out a false flag. Well, if you end up getting caught by a member of the government who is like a good guy, somebody in the CIA or a police officer or somebody who's not involved, then you can just claim that you were taking part in the drill. And, you know, that's why there's we have to pay attention to these things, because we've seen these drills coincide with real-time events time and time again. The first time I started noticing some of these training exercises dealing with civilians here in Canada was a few years ago, actually. Here's some footage that I released a few years ago when I came across a training exercise dealing with civilian populations. I managed to find this little hole in this little window here where I got a decent shot of the training exercises that was going on. And as you can see from the footage here, there was military SWAT-looking police guys walking around, guiding the civilians, as you can see there, with their hands on their heads in this training exercise. So anyways, what I wanted to bring to your attention today is the fact that the Canadian military is now preparing for a rather large military domestic training operation drill, which is going to be taking place very, very soon. This is recently from the Ottawa Citizen. 300 military forces, military police, to descend on Hawkesbury. Around 300 military police from 5 military police regiment and 2 military police regiment will be conducting an exercise in Hawkesbury, Ontario and the surrounding area from September 12th to the 16th, 2012, according to the Canadian Forces press release. The military police officers will take part in the exercise, whose primary goal is to practice the various tasks that would be carried out during actual domestic operations. And one thing that I've been seeing more and more lately is this talk of the military police officers. And we are now starting to see that line being blurred more and more between police officers and the military, and that is a very, very slippery slope. We have to remember it's the police who are supposed to be for the people, and it's the military that is meant to fight an enemy. So it's a very, very slippery slope when you begin to blur those lines. And the article goes on to say here, military vehicles consisting of military police cruisers and G-wagons will arrive between September 9th to the 12th, 2012, in convoys of 5 to 8 vehicles from Valcartier, Petawawa, Farnham, and Toronto. The convoys will depart on Sunday, September the 16th, 2012. The site of the Amico building in Hawkesbury will serve as a command post and main accommodations for the personnel. The police operations will include roadblocks, VIP escorts, and even a simulated helicopter crash. In collaboration with the municipalities, the necessary measures have been taken to minimize disruptions to local citizenry. Maneuvers will take place primarily during the day, and specific locations have been designated for the training, namely the town of Alexandria, the town of Plantagenet, the town of Papineauville, the Chateau Hotel at Maribel Airport, and the former Volays Grenville building in Grenville. The roads will be used by exercise participants during this period. However, inconvenience to the local population will be minimized. Blank ammunition will be used during this exercise as well. So again, this is going on in Hawkesbury. This is from September the 12th to the 16th. This is in and around Montreal, Ottawa, and so I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that this is going on. This is going to be happening very, very soon, next week, because it's of utmost importance that we pay attention to these types of drills. Again, as I said, because of the the lines being blurred between military and police, and let's not forget we're in a day and age now where false flag black op operations are a way that the criminal elements within the government gain more control. So if you happen to be in that area, if you live near to any one of those towns, and you think you might be able to get down there, perhaps to catch some footage of the simulated helicopter crash or the military walking around shooting their blank ammunitions, please get down there, check it out. If you manage to get some footage of anything going on there, if you could send it my way, that would be greatly appreciated. But I think it's a good thing to keep an eye on these types of events, especially considering the history of how some of these military training drills end up. So anyways, guys, that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention today. Once again, if you manage to get down there, get some footage, please send it my way. It'd be greatly appreciated. And that is all for today. Thanks for tuning in once again, and I'll see you